Hi, this is Jen.
And this is Greg.
And welcome to Flights or Growlers.
Today we're back at Epcot International Food and Wine Festival for our third visit. And today we'll be going to the Hops Barley booth in the American Pavilion. And also, we created our own flight from around Epcot.
Yeah, Food and Wine Festival goes from mid-July to November 20th, 2021. And this segment was filmed in July right after the festival opened. So, like Greg said, we're starting off at Hops and Barley at the American Pavilion. We started off with the 81 Bay Strawberry and Lime Ale at 5.4% ABV out of Tampa, Florida. This beer was pale yellow with a creamy head and was opaque. It had strong odor of strawberry and lime on the nose, very, very strong. The beer was malty with a nice finish, and I kind of thought the citrus tasted bitter and was unpleasant with a lingering aftertaste. Greg, what did you think?
I thought that the strawberry and the lime were well balanced and that it was refreshing.
Great.
Yep. Next, we tried the Sweetwater Hazy IPA at 6.2% ABV, 45 IBUs, and that is from Atlanta, Georgia. It's a New England style IPA. It was cloudy with a creamy head and opaque. There's strong piney hops on the nose. There's a malt kind of in the first sip, and then the hops cascade over the tongue with a bitter citrus and pine that hits the back of your throat. It's a full mouthfeel, had a full finish, and a lingering hoppy bitter finish. We've been enjoying a lot of, or at least I've been enjoying a lot of hazy IPAs this summer, and this is definitely another good beer, especially if you like the Sweetwater 420. Jen, what did you think?
Well, I mean, if you've been watching the channel by now, you know how I think, what I think about IPAs, and this falls in line with my general opinion of IPAs. I'm sure it's well made, it's just not for me.
Right. Next, we moved on to the Lord Hobo Double IPA, which is a 7.8% heavy hitter there. And it's got 78 IBUs, and that is out of Woburn, Massachusetts. There's a toasted bread color, kind of a honey-ish color. It was creamy on the head, and it was a transparent beer. There's definitely hops on the nose with a malty aroma. It was really complex, and I thought it was well balanced. It's hoppy with malty undertone. There's a full mouthfeel, an alcohol burn and bitterness on the finish, and at 7.8%, you might expect that from a high alcohol beer. The bitterness lingers. It's definitely a palate killer. I tried this, and I think my first reaction was all of my umami is gone, and it was definitely melting my tongue. Jen, what did you think?
I don't think anyone would be surprised to hear that this one is definitely not for me. The nose on this was a lot better to me than the taste. I thought it smelled a lot better than it tasted. But again, this is not a beer made for me and my palate. This is definitely something for somebody who is more of a hop fan, more of an IPA, double IPA fan. So I'm going to be honest, I really didn't love any of the beers at this booth. I don't know that there's anything I would go back for. What about you, Greg?
I think my favorite would have to be the Sweetwater Hazy. It's the only beer I had here that I could probably drink more than one of, as the others were either a little bit too mellow or definitely a palate killer.
Yeah, I do want to say, though, that the American Pavilion is a wonderful place to go and get a bite to eat, and if you're into these beers, even get a flight or get a full size of any of these beers, because there is plenty of seating. There's a lot of picnic tables, there's a lot of outdoor seating. When we were there, the Voices of Liberty were playing on the stage that's right across the walkway, so we did get to hear a little bit of the show as we sat and enjoyed these beers, or not enjoyed these beers, as the case may be. They also have the interior, like the rotunda area leading into the American Adventure show, has some high top tables and is available for, I don't want to say seating, but available for you to go into and enjoy the air conditioning. So that's a really nice touch as well. If it's a hot day, you do have an air conditioned option at the American Pavilion to take your food or drink into, stand at a high top table, enjoy that cool breeze air, and really get out of the sun if that's what you're needing.
Yep. And they also have a barbecue stand there that has other beers on draft too. So it's an all-around good place to stop for a beer at Epcot.
Yeah, as much as I didn't love the beer, I really enjoyed the ambiance and being able to hang out in the American Pavilion. So next up, we did a create your own flight. And the way we did this is we went through our festival passport and identified some of the beers that we would like to try that weren't necessarily included in any of these flights that we had tried so far. Greg, you picked one out at the Noodle Exchange booth. What did you try?
All right. So at this booth, we tried the Playa Linda Brewing Company Yalpin Brothers Green Tea Pale Ale at 6% ABV. That's from Titusville, Florida. It was a cloudy beer. There was basically no head. Had a really muted nose. There was an initial hit of sour with a hint of tea on the finish and a slight bitterness. It was sour-like. It was like a sour beer. There's a lingering aftertaste. The green tea is not as prominent as expected. It's more subtle and less pronounced. And I didn't really like it. But what did you think, Jen?
Yes, thanks for once again pointing out the subtle and pronounced. I thought it was okay. I don't think it would be a go-to for me, but I didn't dislike it. And what's nice is they do have it in that 6-ounce pour, so we were able to get tasting portion. Next, we stopped at the Refreshment Outpost and tried the Three Daughters Allspice Hard Cider at 5.5% ABV out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Now this one only comes in a 16-ounce size, so there's no tasting portion on this, so I bit the bullet and committed without knowing what it tasted like. It was a pretty golden color with a small white head and was opaque. You definitely had that cider and spice on the nose. It was full-bodied with peach and pear on the finish. The spice lingered mid-palate, and it was strong at first and then tapered off. You got a sense of the sweet apple throughout as well. I thought it was really well balanced, sweet and spicy. I would order it again. What did you think, Greg?
Yeah, I think if you're not a super beer fan, I don't know why you're watching this channel, but if you happen to like ciders more, this whole festival has just an amazing array of ciders available. This is one of them, but there's ciders all over this place. And if you're a fan of hard cider, you're just trying to get into it, this is definitely a really good event to start because there's so many different flavors to try.
Yeah, I agree. This is a lot more ciders than they've had at this festival in the past, and I'm really happy with that.
Next, outside of the Mexico Pavilion was the Mexico food stand. And this is where we ordered the Tulum craft beer at 4.5% ABV from Cancun, Mexico. It was a dark golden color. It had a pilsnery aroma. It was very effervescent, and it had a tall, creamy head. There's a malted, yeasty nose on this one. The flavor is yeasty, malty, crackery, and it has a lager yeast and malt flavor to it. It was full-bodied, had a full-bodied mouthfeel, a light aftertaste, and it was very refreshing. This was such a good beer. What did you think, Jen?
Yeah, I kind of loved this beer. We did get the tasting portion of this. We did get the 6-ounce. I would go back and order this in a full size. This just hit me on so many levels. I had that yeasty, malty, but it was light at the same time. Very, very drinkable. Great with pairing with food. If you're going to get a taco or something along those lines, I think this would be the perfect pairing for that as well. Yeah,
and this was a good way to wrap up the festival. At the time we went, there were still some booths that had yet to open for the year, so we're likely to go back. If you've been to the festival or if you know what they serve and you would like us to try something, please leave a comment down below, and we'll go out and try the beer and let you know what we think.
Yeah, and if you like these videos, please make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification button so that anytime we put a video out, you'll be notified right away and you won't miss a single moment.
Right. So until we see you again from the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, this is Greg.
And this is Jen, and we'll see you at the brewery.